History says the atomic age began in 1945. But what if we are wrong? What if the first nuclear blast happened 4,000 years ago, in the cradle of civilization? Deep in the Indus Valley lie the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro. At its peak, it was a marvel of engineering, with structured streets and advanced plumbing, a society centuries ahead of its time. But then, in a single heartbeat, everything vanished. When archaeologists uncovered the site in 1922, they found horror. Skeletons frozen in time, scattered across the streets. No signs of war, no wounds from blades or arrows. Just sudden, absolute death. But it's what science found later that defies logic. These bones are radioactive. Join me as we peel back the layers of a forgotten tragedy. This is a crime scene from a world we thought we understood. Welcome to the mystery of the Mound of the Dead. The radioactivity found at Mohenjo-Daro isn't just a minor anomaly. It is a smoking gun. In some areas, the levels were so intense that researchers had to exercise extreme caution, even thousands of years after the event. This wasn't a natural disaster. Nature doesn't leave behind radioactive dust and bodies frozen in mid-motion. As we move deeper into the ruins, we find the epicenter, a circular area where the destruction reaches its peak. Here, the stone walls didn't just collapse, they were vitrified. The intense heat, exceeding 1,500 degrees Celsius, turned the very brick and clay into a dark, greenish glass. In the modern world, we've only seen this phenomenon in one place: the nuclear test sites of the 20th century. If there were no volcanoes and no meteorites, what force in the ancient world could generate the heat of 1,000 suns? To find the answer, we must look beyond the ruins and into the sacred texts of ancient India. The Mahabharata and the Ramayana describe weapons so terrifying, they sound like a prophecy of the modern age. They speak of the Agneya, a weapon that released a massive column of fire as bright as 1,000 suns, reducing entire armies to ashes in an instant. The descriptions are chillingly specific. The texts say that those who survived the initial blast soon lost their hair and fingernails. Food became poisoned, and birds fell dead from the sky. These are not the metaphors of ancient poets. They are the exact symptoms of acute radiation poisoning. Was this a mythological war between gods, or a literal account of a prehistoric nuclear conflict? The more we compare the ancient verses to the silent streets of Mohenjo-Daro, the harder it becomes to call it mere fiction. While the ancient texts provide a haunting narrative, the ground beneath Mohenjo-Daro offers physical proof that is impossible to ignore. Scattered across the site are thousands of small, black, glass-like stones. Scientists found that these are actually fragments of pottery and brick that were melted at temperatures exceeding 1,500 degrees Celsius. This process, known as vitrification, doesn't happen in a typical city fire. It requires an intense, concentrated blast of thermal energy. We see the exact same phenomenon at the Trinity site in New Mexico, the location of the world's first nuclear test in 1945. There, the desert sand was fused into a green glass called trinitite. At Mohenjo-Daro, the black stones tell the same story. A story of a heat so fierce, it turned solid structures into liquid glass in the blink of an eye. If this wasn't a nuclear event, we are left with a terrifying question. What else could have done this? As we move deeper into the heart of Mohenjo-Daro, we encounter the most disturbing piece of the puzzle: the epicenter of destruction. In a circular area about 50 yards wide, everything has been reduced to fine, crystallized dust. The bricks didn't just break. They dissolved under a force that hit the city from above. When researchers mapped the ruins, they found a clear pattern. The damage is most severe at the center and gradually decreases as you move toward the city walls. This is the exact signature of an airburst. A nuclear weapon detonated high above the ground to maximize destruction. Even more baffling is what was found inside the houses. In some rooms, pots were found, partially melted on one side, while the other side remained intact. This suggests a flash of heat so fast and so intense that it didn't even have time to heat the entire object. It was a momentary burst of energy that lasted only a fraction of a second. If this wasn't technology, then we are witnessing a phenomenon that science simply cannot explain. Mohenjo-Daro is not the only place on Earth where we find these haunting traces of prehistoric destruction. From the glass-strewn deserts of Libya to the vitrified forts of Scotland, the evidence of intense, unexplained heat is scattered across the globe. In the Rajasthan desert, researchers discovered a layer of radioactive ash covering a 3-square-mile area. The levels were so high that the local government had to cordon off the site. Why does the footprint of modern nuclear warfare keep appearing in our ancient past? Some theorists suggest that we are not the first advanced civilization to walk this earth. They argue that humanity may have reached the atomic age long before we ever recorded history, only to be wiped out by the very technology they created. If Mohenjo-Daro was just one city in a global conflict, we must ask ourselves, how many other civilizations have we lost to the shadows of time? While the physical evidence points to a massive explosion, ancient human records might hold the why. In the sacred Indian texts of the Mahabharata, there are descriptions of battles that sound terrifyingly modern. They speak of the Agneya, a weapon that released a light as bright as 1,000 suns, making the very air boil and turning water into steam. The texts describe survivors losing their hair and nails, and birds turning white, classic signs of radiation sickness that no one in the ancient world should have known about. Could these scripts be more than just mythology? Perhaps they are eyewitness accounts of a prehistoric nuclear war, written by those who saw the gods descend in flying machines called Vimanas. If these stories are true, then Mohenjo-Daro wasn't a natural disaster. It was a target. The ruins of Mohenjo-Daro remain a silent witness to a catastrophe we are only beginning to understand. Whether it was a war of the gods or a lost chapter of technology, one thing is certain. Our past is far more mysterious than we are told. As the desert winds sweep over this radioactive dust, they carry a warning. We are not the masters of this earth. We are merely its temporary residents. If we do not learn from the shadows of the past, we may be destined to repeat them. The skeletons of the dead city have waited 4,000 years to tell their story. It's time we started listening. What do you think really happened here? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to uncover more dark secrets of our history, subscribe and hit the bell. This was the mystery of Mohenjo-Daro. Thank you for watching.